We creep when you sleep. PTP unit the peterster just locked up his store for the night. In the most starlit and peaceful hours, the dim streetlights hummed their usual 60 Hz hum, serving as a constant reminder that you are always in close proximity to invisible forces that could open the doorway between worlds if your paths were to intersect for a brief moment. Everything was still on the empty snow-swept street, just ahead, on the dimly lit laden roadway, scarcely decorated with decrepit buildings, adorned with coils of wiring, suspending overhead. You hear a grind, thud, thud, grind, thump, a sound of something very heavy, dulled by the soft snow with a damp echo. Peter P. Unit, the peterster, took a major pause and tried to locate the source of suspicious vibes. He closed his eyes to focus his bat, like echolocation. He clicked his tongue, like Daredevil or that blind mercenary from Golden Kamuy. No vivid images appeared within his mind. Dangit, next time, he thought. Upon opening his eyes, his vision darts front and center of the road ahead, beneath the next overhead wire crossing, where their broken faint shadows were barely cast onto the snowy roadway. Among them, a small puddle, mirroring the moonlight, which he could have sworn was absent moments ago. PDP, unit the peterster, was stuck in a state of catch these hands, or throw these bands. No choice seemed right. He tried to take stock of his surroundings through his peripheral vision, unable to shift his gaze for even a moment. Surely, I am faded. I must have overdone it with the PT snacks. PTP unit, the peterster, reassured himself, and marched forward, still alert. With the puddle demanding his full attention, the sounds had ceased, which provided our increasingly frazzled protagonist with an urgently needed modicum of chill. Upon closing the distance between himself and the puddle to about 6 radial cross-sections of an industry-standard didgeridoo, unraveled and laid out end to end, he continued to step forward and investigate. But his foot never touched the floor. All was silent. Time halted instantly. Even the steady gust of snowflakes froze, becoming still specks that scattered the dark, silent sky with endless Fibonacci sequences of reflected moonlight. PTP, suffice to say, was more shook than the maracas in the pediatric psychology clinic, equal parts experiencing the crippling fear associated with sub-zero levels of chill, and excited to journal about his new experience, should he survive. He screamed internally, willing his body to move the slightest twitch. Anything would do. If he could just move 1 millimeter, flex a single muscle, he felt his freedom would be granted. But a crushing presence forced its dominion on him from all angles, locking him in place as if teleported to the darkest and deepest dark depths, the Johnny Depths. Before P Unit's petrified glare, as if made of pure dark energy and evil intent, the shadowy puddles coalesce into a dark, viscous liquid that rises from the earth, forming a vague figure with blurred edges, as if it were difficult to perceive, difficult to pay attention to, and impossible to remember. For milliseconds that felt an eternity, the snowfall slowly resumed, still shackled and forced to watch the snow gather and collect on the blurred outlines of the dark being, giving it a snowy covering. Bit by bit, the snowfall increased, bits of snow slowly sticking to, coating, and giving a clear form to this shadow entity. As the snow collected around where you would expect to see a face, a white speckled smile flashed through the barely perceptible dark figure. Finally, all traces of darkness were hidden by the falling snow, replaced fully by a horribly ugly and disfigured snowman with a misshapen head rounded on one side, a prominent brow hanging over sunken eye sockets, 3 points atop its head, a stubby drooped nose. The white face grinned even wider, the frozen ice crumbling and breaking apart to allow the movement, exposing cracked veins of darkness from the hollow inside for a moment, before being patched by snow once more. Hey, Alexiri Klaugulegu, PDP telepathically gestures to his smart glasses, record video, and call for help. Also, please, reality check. Is this some kind of weird augmented reality program? Because I thought I opted out of spam and mixed reality content. His eyewear remained as steadfast and silent as their predecessors. The snowman sprouted tentacles that curled and curved in an unnatural and unexplainable way. The tentacles formed a spiked tip that tore at the open air beside it, revealing a dark slit. It slid sideways and instantly reappeared by Petey's side, closing the gap instantly. its body short and unimposing, but the tentacles dwarfing and surrounding PTP unit, the peterster, entirely. You will do. Everything goes white and ringing ears like a flashbang. The next morning, PTP Peterson wakes abruptly in a cold sweat. What a crazy dream, he thinks. I can barely remember what happened. Actually, this sweat is cold, very cold. Freezing? Hold on, where am I? Still waking up and gaining awareness from an all too vivid dream. The absurdly nostalgic feeling of being frozen in place slowly returns, passing in front of him on the road he sees, himself passing by. The passing PT. P pauses and nods, then carries on into the distance. Yes, it is.